Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Sun Salutation Spotlight. My name is Andrea and today is going to be a completely different episode, totally different from anything else I've done on this YouTube channel. I wanted to talk about a spiritual transcendent moment that I had while I was visiting San Francisco. I mentioned in my previous video that I would be traveling to San Francisco to film some studios and review them there. And I did do that, but also I had a plan to meet with one of my best friends and have a moment to take some magic mushrooms. And I've done mushrooms before, so this wasn't like a brand new experience for me, but it was different, I think, in this context because of my intention. And so now fast forward to this trip. It was a beautiful day and it was 10 a.m. when we decided to eat mushrooms, and I would say probably shared an eighth, probably shared less than an eighth. And we started hiking up the mountain and we decided to do a little yoga. So I kind of guided a yoga practice for like, I don't know, 15-20 minutes. And then we started to feel the effects. And we kind of took a seat and chilled for a little bit. And I just kind of got up and started walking up the mountainside. And I left my things with Anthony and he was kind of doing his own thing. And I just decided to go up there, and there was an incredible view, which I'll show here, where I just decided to meditate. I just sat there just like I'm sitting here now, like cross-legged, you know. I had my shoes on, I found a spot, and I just sat just like this, totally still for like 4 hours. So I didn't expect to sit that long. I kind of was just seeing what would happen. And it was really incredible. I believe that this is what Samadhi feels like, and it's something that I've always been curious about experiencing, and it's definitely something you can never force or contrive. It's just something that happens. Of course, a regular meditation practice will help bring you into that space of possibility. Going back to my transcendent experience, I sat there in meditation seat, and like normally I would have been so uncomfortable after 40 minutes. I usually sit 20, 25, maybe 30, 40 minutes a day at most, but by then my legs are falling asleep and, you know, my legs are sore, and maybe because of the medicine I didn't feel feel any of that. And of course, when you take medicine like magic mushrooms, your body can have, you know, reactions to it, like you might feel like you need to vomit, you might get sick. And there were moments where I was like, okay, I'm feeling really sick right now. And by the way, it was probably like 90 degrees. The sun was beating down. There was some wind, thank goodness, from the breeze from the ocean and the bay. But I literally sat there, no sunscreen, no water, nothing, for 4 hours, and just stared out. Literally, I just stared out into the bay. And it was a really interesting experience because I'm looking through my sunglasses. Good thing I did have sunglasses on. And I'm just staring at one point in the bay, in the middle of the bay. And I could see in the periphery, like things moving, you know, birds flying, you know, maybe the grass waving around, buoys and boats in the water, and I could see all those things in the periphery, but I was just like so focused on that one thing I was looking at in the water, that one point. And it was just complete and utter focus. And like I said, I saw the things in my periphery, I felt my body, I could feel my legs, it just didn't bother me. I could feel bugs crawling on me. Normally I'm like totally freaked out by bugs, unreasonably so, and I could feel them crawling on me and it just didn't bother me. I didn't flinch. It was interesting. There was even one point where I could see like it was either a gnat or some kind of small bug, like kind of crawling on my eyebrow, which sounds horrifying to some of you, I'm sure. It would have freaked me out any other time. And I just like sat there completely still, like looking at that point in the bay, and I could feel it. It was there, I could see it. And I just let it. It just didn't bother me. And I just was like, this too can be here. This too can be here. And there were moments where I would feel really intense emotion flood through myself about, I started a loving kindness meditation. If you're familiar with metta meditation, it's the practice of envisioning someone in your mind's eye and sending them well wishes. And typically the words are, may you be well, may you be safe from harm, may you be free, may you be at peace. It's like that, where you send them basically those intentions of well wishes. And the script changes, but it's usually pretty much the same. And so I was doing a loving kindness meditation, and I was feeling all those intense emotions, and I just was focused. The same thing with other family members in my life, other loved ones that I know are struggling. I did the same type of meditation for them, and I would feel different ways when I was tapping into the different people I was sending love to. It was almost like, for one person in particular who I was sending a metta meditation to, I could feel all of a sudden the wind picked up and it got really blustery, and I could feel like a lot of movement around me with like birds and I don't know, energy. There's a lot of energy swirling around me, and I would feel this person was in turmoil. I could feel almost their sense of their shadows and their challenges and strife, and it felt palpable. And I just continued on sending the love, and I said, I'm not scared, and I'm here. I will not go away. I'm here with you. So I felt like I communicated to people through my soul in that meditation. There were also moments where I was in deep focus and meditation, and it'd be really still and quiet, and then a big gust of wind would come, and all of a sudden I'd hear all the people at the beach. Like I could hear them so clearly, like just kind of like the cacophony of voices and joy and excitement and laughter, and I could hear that coming from the beach. And it was almost like I was almost like living that in that moment with them down at the beach. And the beach is like a good 2 miles down the mountain, so it was kind of interesting to experience that. And yeah, it was just incredible. And then my friend and I he's been showing me the autobiography of a yogi, which I know, like, if you're a yoga teacher, you're probably shocked that I haven't read it, but I have not read that book. And so I started reading about the levitating saint, which is chapter 8. And in that chapter, he talks about meeting with a guru who can levitate, and they meditate together. And the guru looks at, I'm forgetting his name now, the person who writes Autobiography of a Yogi. The guru looks at him and says, isn't it fun? I can see that you love meditation. And it's true. Once you get to a certain point in your meditation practice, like it's very enjoyable to be just in a state of pure bliss and peace, right? And I was feeling that. But then he reminds him, this guru reminds him, don't forget about God. Like that is why we're here meditating. So don't get so wrapped up in the meditation that you forget about God. And so I had a moment where I was like, okay, yeah, like God, like I need to remember you. And I kind of had some dialogue. Not like, and when I say had dialogue, it's not like I'm talking or there's like words. It's really just energies. Like energies are felt. Like here's an energy of, you know, God, I'm devoted to you in this practice, and you know, energy of God, receiving that. And but there's not like I'm hearing any voices as this is happening, you know. And then I thought, or not thought, but it came, I kind of in my meditation remembered Parvati and Shiva. So in this book, Awakening Shakti, Sally Kimpton talks about all the deities and the gods in the mythology of Tantra Yoga. And so I actually just happened to open to chapter 6, which is about Parvati, the goddess of sacred marriage. So anyways, the story of Shiva and Parvati is, so Shiva is married a couple different times in mythology, but his marriage to Parvati is the sacred marriage. And what I recall is Shiva he loves meditation. And so he's meditating, and Parvati brings him out of meditation to come into the world, to experience life again. And she convinces him with her being, right? And so I felt at a point like Parvati was talking to me like, okay, you're being like Shiva right now. You're just so wrapped in your meditation. Like, maybe time to come back to the world. At a certain point, felt like I was ready to kind of come out. And so I kind of started moving a little bit and allowed my legs to stretch. And, you know, had some moments there. I really just wanted to document that whole situation, because I think that from that point, I definitely see things differently. Like in this place of limbo that has been so uncomfortable for me, and honestly in some moments like agonizing to just not know where I'm going and feel like I'm stagnating. Really, it just, all that fear just completely gone. Like, and it's not like I know, there were some messages that were very clear, like, yes, you're meant to be a yoga teacher. Like, yes, you're meant to commit fully to this life and this practice. Yes, you're meant to share this gift with the world. That doesn't mean that I have some kind of like practical outline of exactly what that looks like, or some linear idea of the process that I'll go through. It just means that, you know, I have a renewed sense of faith and trust in this whole process. And I'm finally at a point in my life where I don't have to look at the whole mountain and have a plan to climb up it. I just have to, and this is also from the Gene Keys in one of his meditations. He talks about, you just have to look at the ground and look at your feet and start there. Just one step at a time. So I thought that this would be a new chapter to start documenting kind of my journey through this process of basically emancipating myself from convention and corporate world and life, and to kind of share with you all my journey from basically the inception. This is definitely a beginning of a new chapter where I've completely devoted myself to this spiritual life. And of course, I live in the physical world. Of course, I have to make money and I have to pay my bills, and none of that is going away. I just am not living with this like impending doom fear of well, what am I going to do? I have to figure something out. I'm just in this new phase where I'm trusting everything. I'm paying attention for synchronicities, noticing who I meet, feeling the energies around me and the auras of those that I run into. And, if I resonate with someone, I might ask if they want to do a project together or do a retreat together or things like that. So I'm just being open, and it feels really liberating to be in this space. Like it felt terrifying for the beginning part. The whole first 9 months, I was like really in a state of like, some days I felt complete despair and hopelessness and purposelessness and like, what am I doing? Like, at least with a job, I knew I was like doing something, right? But now I feel like I'm doing the right thing. And it's not one thing, it's just like a direction that I'm going in, a faith, a trust. And I'll let you know how it goes. Like I'm really excited to embark on this journey and to see where it takes me. So I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel. So I hope that this inspires you in some way to take even a small step of maybe trying meditation for the first time. 5 minutes, your first time is plenty. Or if you already have a meditation practice, committing to something that is maybe something you've been putting on the back burner, something you thought, oh, I can never do that. Some dream that you've had that you've kind of cast aside as unrealistic. Maybe just think about what is the first step that you could take in that direction. Namaste. Be well. Om. Lokah, samastah, sukhino, bhavantu. May all beings be happy and free. May the ripples of my actions cause all beings to be happy and free. Namaste.